Welcome back to Matchday Live. Chelsea get the 3 points tonight thanks to Mason Mount's goal. His second in as many weeks, enough to beat Fulham 1-0 at Craven Cottage. Jace, there was a big shout of relief when Mason scored. A big exhale from him and from the players around him. And I'm sure from every Chelsea fan, because it did feel like for a lot of time that second half, we kept knocking on the door and kept trying to create something. But it did feel for a while as if the breakthrough wasn't going to come. Finally, it did, and thankfully.
I was feeling desperate, absolutely desperate, and I couldn't see it scoring. Honestly, I couldn't. I didn't know where a goal was going to come from. I think we looked more creative in the first half. The goalkeeper really didn't have a lot to do second half. Just the shot from Ziyech. I'm trying to think of anything else. And honestly, just the result is. Look, with the result is always and always will be the most important thing. The performance today, I can't sugarcoat it. It was not a good performance. And credit to Fulham, they played their part in had it been 11v11, I think they probably would have taken something from this game. But we kept going, and eventually we get the breakthrough. I don't want to watch that game again, honestly. I'm oh dear. Just all I can say is thank God that Mason Mount got that great connect, because it's not an easy goal, because so many times you saw Aspie on the edge of the box where how many times players can hit it over. The technique, get over the ball, keep the ball down, keep your eye on it. Technique, brilliant strike, well done him. But overall, again, Callum, how Callum can't start against Leicester, I don't know. It was a bright spark. I thought Tammy played well when he came on. The subs had a big impact. Timo towards the end, I mean, get that goal, finish it, what that would have done for him. I'm just so pleased that we've got that win, because I've got to tell you guys, I didn't think it was coming.
Like Jace pointed out there, Dan, Mason Mount's goal, it looks like a simple one, but it's far from it. Is it when the ball's coming out to me, it's so easy, especially the way the game's going, to snatch at that chance and slice it wide or get too much on it and lean back and it goes over. The way that he's controlled it. I mean, Frank Lampard said in the week, we spoke about in the pre-match show, that he wants Mason Mount to score more goals. That was 10 years ago, and that was Frank Lampard. That's a carbon copy of the goals he used to score, sort of waiting for the pull back and then tucks it away. It's a brilliant finish, especially when Chelsea needed one. Went for a lot of experience in the lineup today, and it's one of the younger heads that's taken the initiative and been the difference for us today.
One of the younger heads, I think he's probably one of the most trustworthy on that team. Yeah. In Frank Lampard's book anyway. He's the one that you're going to get a certain performance out of, and he took the goal very well. He didn't snatch, showed composure, got over it. And we needed it, because that was the first goal in a while. When in, I shouted yes, we really needed it. And they were making us work really hard, and you could see that we were beginning to get a bit impatient. I was seeing players' heads drop when passes weren't going. I thought, oh, is this the part of the game where Fulham look at it and they are like, oh, do you know what? We can nick something here. Maybe we can get 3 points here. So we needed that. And once again, Mason Mount comes through. Not a great performance, but 3 points, I'll take it every day of the week.
Completely right, mate. Completely right. 3 points is the main thing. And Abby, Jason's already touched on it, but Callum Hudson-Odoi's introduction, again, superb. He seems bright, he seems direct, he seems to want to run at people. And even for the goal, the fact that he gets the ball and he draws players near, he doesn't rush it, doesn't panic, he stands the ball up and tries to make something happen. He's been superb the last month or so. And when you've got a player that's in that sort of form, whether he starts or not, the fact that he's coming off the bench and he's carrying on that good form, he's been a real asset to Chelsea. And like Jason said, it's hard to make a case for him not playing a big part on Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean, he's in impeccable form, isn't it? It felt like his impact was instant. Like, as soon as he came in, he genuinely, just the energy that he injected into the game, then he obviously was involved in the goal. He has to start for me on Tuesday. I just think it would be stupid not to start him. Also, I just want to shout out a couple of people who were showering Hudson-Odoi with some love. AKD saying Cho made that happen with the goal. Manny C saying he's the fastest kid in the West. Not wrong. Right, I'm saying this is why we love Mount as well. Mount getting a lot of love for everything that he did today. And Andrew P as well saying brilliant goal from Mount. I think Mount's probably my man of the match, but I just think Hudson-Odoi, he wasn't on for very long, but he definitely made his mark, didn't he?
Made a huge impact. And Jay, like Abby said there, Mason, we've said it before, Mason's always sort of a 7, at least a 7, 8 out of 10, even on an off day, because the amount that he puts in, the effort and the work rate and how hard he goes. But getting the goal today, that's big for him as well, isn't it? Because, he does receive criticism outside of Chelsea Wolves. He doesn't score enough goals. Today's a big goal for him. And the fact that he stood up and he's got that done for us, that's going to finally get him a bit of credit from outside.
Yeah, we spoke, didn't we, before the game about a lack of goals from midfield. We don't have that natural goal-scoring midfielder, and Mason has got that. He's got the ability to do that, and he can become that player. And as making the point in commentary, Frank Lampard's goal-scoring record when he first broke into West Ham's team, he was single figures, not big numbers at all. Even when he first came here, not big numbers, and it was something that developed and grew, and it became an instinctive thing with Frank. Frank instinctively knew where to go, instinctively arrived on the edge of the box, plus the goals, of course, free kicks and shots from distance as well. And Mason can add that to his game. He's the one. He's got that. He's absolutely got it. And it was a massive goal today, because if we didn't pick up 3 points today, and the pressure I felt that we were under going into this game would have intensified, because not to beat a side that were in the bottom 3 that had 10 men, you can only imagine what the headlines would look like. So it's a massive, massive goal, not just for him, but for Frank and for Chelsea and for us.
Dan, I suppose the criticism from the outside has been that when Chelsea are in control of games, or when they've got the opportunity to take it, they perhaps in the last couple of weeks they've struggled to do so. Today, like we've all seen, it won't be a performance that sort of stands in the mind in terms of an incredibly exciting game to watch, but in terms of getting the job done and getting 3 points when you don't play at your absolute best, that sometimes is as important as playing really well, isn't it? The old thing that champions win games when they're not playing well. We've won the game today, and it was important that we got the game today because of the pressure that was mounting, like Jason's just said.
Yeah, we weren't at our best. We won. I like it, actually. I quite like it when a team is able to win without playing particularly well. Albeit we were at a handicap today because they did have 10 men, and if they did have 11, we would have seen how hard we would have had to dig in, and if we would have had character to take the game, to steal it. It's almost a bit of like an arrogance, I guess, to say, yeah, I don't care that we're not playing well. We're still gonna come and we're gonna win this game, even though we're at 60%. So, yeah, we did it. We got over the line, and we just have to we have to find something from somewhere. It's been a while since we've put in a good performance against a good opposition.
Yeah.
And I think that's when we'll really find out, because we've got a big game on Tuesday. We've got big games coming up, and we need to put in some good performances against good teams.
It's a great point, and Abby, like Dan's saying there, that you got to put performances in, you got to get results against good teams. That test comes on Tuesday, because Leicester do fall into that bracket. They've done well in the Premier League the last couple of years, and Brendan Rodgers has gotten playing some very good football and are getting results against big teams. So that is the test, isn't it now? And coming off the back of two games where we've scored 5 goals in 2, we haven't conceded either. It's about that momentum, and like Jason said before the game, momentum starts by winning your first game. So that's where it started now, and you hope that the test on Tuesday night comes at the right time for us to start and carry on building on.
Yeah, exactly. I think tonight's win was scrappy, not a particularly convincing win, but it's a win, and this can be the start of a run. It's about just gaining momentum now. Tuesday, again, really, we need to put in. If we don't win, we at least need to put in an amazing team performance. It's a really, really important game, the next one.
Massively. And Jay, like we said, Leicester are a very good side. There will be a test. In terms of looking ahead to that game now, what do you think Frank will? Do you think Frank will be looking at today as things need to change? We've not got a huge amount of turnaround. Do you think he'll be looking at any players that have played their way into starting? Callum's the one that we're all thinking, I suppose.
We play like that, we'll get beaten. It's as simple as that. They're a good side, Leicester. They're a really good side. They've got a good manager. They got a way of playing, and 9 times out of 10, they turn up and play pretty well. If we play like that, we'll get turned over convincingly, because they will hurt you. Why not? Frank has to look at that and has to change. That's not good enough. He won't be happy with what he's seen. He'll take the 3 points, but he'll know that if we play like that, we'll get beaten. He's not, he's not stupid. Callum, for me, has to start. He's done enough there in the cameo that he came on there. and also the games going into this, coming off the bench against City, what he did in the FA Cup, I've seen enough. And I felt that something was going to happen when he came on. He looked like something was going to happen. Looked like he felt he could make something happen. Up until that point, we were lacking real direction and creativity. We looked flat. We looked blunt. And he added that little bit of something different up top. So yes, he would almost certainly be the first name for me that I would change in the starting 11. And for the first time in a long time, guys, we played poorly and won. You know, we've been playing poorly and losing, and look, we'll take that, but we can't afford to leave performances like that again.
Dan, on Tuesday, obviously, we'll welcome N'Golo Kanté back into the fold. You know, he'll have served his one-game suspension. Reece James as well, potentially. So like Jason said, you know, there might be a few changes ahead of Tuesday night, but I suppose the massive relief to get the result today when it looked like it wasn't, and I suppose the mental hurdle that you've got to overcome when you've got a team that's digging in, got 10 men, you know, they're more than happy with a point, and then you've got that goal. That'll give you an edge, won't it?
Yeah, and I expect both those players, Reece James and Kanté, to come in and start, I think. I think we need a bit more energy, a bit more quality in our performance. And, you know, when you look back at it, the stats don't look bad. We haven't conceded in 2. We've scored 5 or whatever it is in 2 games. It's not bad on paper, but performance-wise, we're not at the level that we know that this squad can get to. So, you know, Leicester is just going to be a completely different game. You know, they're going to come and they'll think that they can. This is a good time to play Chelsea, and they'll come to win. Could play into our hands because it's more of an open game of football. Today we were asked to unlock Fulham, and we know that they're just going to try and sit in 2 banks, and that's what we've had problems with, you know, all season long. But on Tuesday against Leicester, I'm expecting more of an end-to-end kind of game where, you know, it's about being clinical, it's about being clever, and just being very careful. I think our biggest problem at the moment is in transition. When we lose that ball, I think we just are just half a second late to react, and they get in behind very fast. You know, with Fulham looked half dangerous, which we're going to have to work out a way to deal with that.
Definitely, we look forward to that. Got loads coming up for you on the Fifth Stand, of course, including all the post-match reaction from today and highlights of the match a little bit later on tonight. On Monday afternoon, Frank Lampard will be speaking to the press as he looks ahead to a tough test we've just been speaking about against Leicester City. Do join us on Tuesday from 7:05 as we travel to the King Power to take on Brendan Rodgers' Foxes. There is some PL2 action as well on Friday evening, as we look to maintain our top spot at the top of the PL2 table against Southampton. That is on the Fifth Stand from 7 p.m. Friday evening. So Frank Lampard in the week called on Mason Mount to score more goals from midfield. Tonight, he's got exactly that. On Tuesday, we go again. Do make sure you join us for it and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Come on, you Blues.